Here we go, welcome back to another edition of the Sunday Bunch on a Sunday. Definitely a Sunday. I think, is it a Sunday? I've been up all night. I can't remember what day it is.
Hungover?
I think it's a Sunday. Thank you, George, and the team for letting us use this wonderful studio. And if you want a fantastic Sunday carvery lunch, get yourself down to the Hastings Hill pub. Absolutely beautiful and a fantastic team. Great waiters, great servers, and a fantastic chef that gives you a bit of banter as well. Absolutely brilliant. So on the panel today, we have great YouTuber himself, Michael Bowers, top Sunderland fan, and the most passionate man on YouTube. Passionist.
I love your grammar. Passionist.
Brilliant. I make up words as I go along.
Passionistic.
I'm a legend in my own mind. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm alright. I'm feeling very passionistic today.
Passionistic. I know that word.
Let's just keep going with inventing words for the English dictionary.
And on my right we have the dynamic duo, the A-team, Sean and Dino. I've got words cannot describe how these two get through the week. I don't know how they get through the week, how they get through the away games, and they're going to the Coventry match. I think they are going to the Coventry match.
They are.
Yeah. After the match, don't abuse them, but give them some great banter. Sean and Dino.
Alright, lads.
Cheers.
Are you both well?
I am. I'm a bit tired after watching the fight last night, but it was worth staying up for. Bang! He's out.
Well, I set an alarm for 12 o'clock. I went on any chance. I set it for 2, I went on any chance, and I got my phone and managed to watch it, but I didn't have a drink in it.
But you did get to watch Chris Maguire versus a OGOGO. So, you know,
I stand there, go. I'm going to get that in somewhere. It was a great fight last night. Well done, Gypsy King, taking back the title against the American Pie. The American Pie was he made to eat humble pie, but it was American Pie. Anyway, well done, the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. So yesterday, Sunderland won again, another clean sheet, absolutely fantastic result, 3-0 against a decent Bristol Rovers side who put up a good performance in the first half. I know it was really bad conditions, really bad wind. It was difficult to play football in them conditions, but Bristol Rovers did a fantastic job in the first half to keep it a clean sheet. So, Michael, what was your thoughts on the game?
Professional performance in the end. We had, well, obviously you get a clean sheet, you can't really complain with that. You can't complain with 3 points at home. But, you know, I mean, in the first half, even then, I thought Sunderland were actually very, very good up until that final killer finishing touch, which we just didn't seem to have. Though Denver Hume himself had a couple of really good moments in the first half, but ultimately Bristol Rovers did hold out till the 70th minute, I think, the first goal was scored then. The sending off definitely helped it in our favour, but ultimately, and I said this I think in my own video, that it's quite dangerous sometimes but to assume playing against 10 men because they up their concentration and effort levels even more. Believe it or not, sometimes that is hard to break down. Having said that, when I did say at 0-0, if we get the first goal, we'll win 2-3-0, just because Bristol Rovers will be mentally shot to bits. And once the first one went in, there was just no real looking back on it. So, crucial 3 points, long way the run continues.
And you're very happy, are you?
No, I'm devastated.
A happy Michael Bowers is always nice to have on the team. Right, Sean, your quick opinion on the match yesterday?
I thought it was a game where we just had to bide our time. Obviously the first half wasn't great, to be fair. I mean, we had a couple of chances, but nothing clear cut. I just thought it was a game where as soon as we got the first one, 2 or 3 would come. I think the sending off, I haven't seen it back, but I think it was Maguire just sort of like, I think he was clever in what he did. He did sort of get the lad sent off. But when it went down to 10 minutes, I was at my worry is like breaking them down, because then they'll just stick everybody behind the ball. And I was thinking, is it going to be one of them days where it's going to be a 0-0 and we're not going to get that goal? But thankfully, I was just saying, my friend next to us, Paul, about Gooch. He was quiet all the game, and then he just obviously he comes up with a goal out with nothing really. Good pass by Maguire. Maguire obviously got 3 assists as well, which I didn't mention on the interviews yesterday, but obviously Maguire got 3 assists, so that was tremendous in itself. But like you see, another clean sheet, 3 points, 3-0 win, happy days, going into the next 2 games, which is massive.
Right, Dean?
Solid performance all around. I think if them went stayed with 11 men, I still think it was a matter of time before we got that goal.
Yeah,
we peppered them for most of that game. I don't even think they had a shot, to be honest. I don't recall them really having a dangerous attack or a shot. You could tell they were quite mid-table. Was I worried about the game? Not really. I expected to win a game like that, especially when we're fighting at the top and they're basically they've not really got much to play for. They're not going to go down, but they're not going to get playoffs. So really, they're just trying to just play the season out until next season. Obviously, the sending off, I think Maguire was quite clever to get a reaction out. That's the kind of thing Maguire likes to do, doesn't he? He likes to try and get a player to snap at him.
He's very
crafty in doing stuff like that. He's a proper shit house player, as we all know and love him as.
I think he's a bit soft. You don't think he's a bit soft?
No. That.
Sorry, Maguire.
But overall, 3-0. I did put a bet on with you. I thought Gucci would score the first goal, and I won that bet, so you owe me a pint.
I got a pint back. I said Charlie White, could he score straight after?
Didn't you see Luke O'Neill deflected effort for the third? I'm sure you said that to me before meeting for the game.
With White's goal, obviously there's a bit of controversy about the head injury and stuff like that, but you've got to play it to the whistle. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, what happened to Joe Lynch? They let the attack continue.
So and
to be honest, when Charlie White was running through, I went, what's he going to do? Yeah, he's not going to score. No way he's going to score. And when he took it around the keeper, I actually believed the keeper outpaced him. I thought the keeper outpaced Charlie White and he was going to miss. But well done, he got his goal. He needs to keep the run going for goals. But like Sean says, I don't think he turns up for the big matches. Like Fleetwood's a big game, and Coventry's going to be a big game.
But you
look with White though. Well, what's his goal record? Like 1 every 10 games. So that's him done till probably April now.
Well, I thought it was a decent match yesterday. I mean, I thought, like I say, when White scored his goal, their two defenders jumped up together, and I thought they'd clashed heads, and actually the ball touched them rather than Maguire, and the ball went straight through to White. Now, White had no idea that the lad had hurt his head. He wasn't looking at them because he was going straight on goal. The keeper had no idea the player was down. So at the end of the day, the referee made a good decision and let him go through to score the goal. I thought it was a great game. I thought Bristol Rovers put a lot of energy into the first half. The wind was blowing a hoolie. It was going across the pitch. It was really difficult to score in that end, I thought. So in the first half, we had a few chances. I think Gooch possibly should have had a penalty. I haven't seen it back too many times, so I'm not quite sure. So at the end of the day, Bristol Rovers are a decent side. New manager in. He's supposed to be, Mourinho said he was supposed to be the new gifted one. We're not quite sure, but the Bristol Rovers fans I met yesterday all said he was a good manager, one for next season, not so much this season. And the Bristol Rovers fans I met were all fantastic fans, so I do wish them all the best for the rest of the season. And they're definitely safe in League One. There's no way in a million years they're going to go down. Absolutely fantastic Bristol fans, and I will say Bristol Rovers fans, because I know there's a bit of rivalry there with Bristol City, as I was told yesterday by somebody. Right, so 3 points. Clean sheet. So how did Ozturk do, Michael? He came in for Bailey Rice. So do you think he had a good performance, or is Tommy Smith going to take that position?
Well, obviously Tommy Smith just came through the door literally the day before the game. So look, I think it was a common consensus that among Sunderland fans that Ozturk, I think, was quite unlucky to be dropped. It's just Bailey Wright has been a different class altogether, and it's a shame really that, obviously I wasn't on the panel last week, it's a massive shame that he's out for, well, you would think the rest of the season. I know it said 8 to 12 weeks, so there's a slim chance he could be involved at the end, but more than likely not. Ozturk, I think that if you've got with the right players around him, if you've got Willis in there and you've got Flanagan in there, I think Ozturk just slots in quite nicely, and he didn't really do much wrong yesterday. Obviously, the criticism of Ozturk's game is that he tends to do that a bit too much. Yeah. But
massage up here.
Hang on, there we go. How's that?
Feels wrong. Right, Holman.
Yeah, this panel's going places today, isn't it? In the wrong way.
It's the wrong station, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't broadcast that on Spark. But look, seriously though, Ozturk, yeah, he did well before getting dropped, and I think Ozturk, he started poorly last season, but then has since, I think, been pretty solid, pretty dependable for the most part. And I think what helps as well is that we've got such a set way in playing a back three now that everyone seems comfortable on and off the ball, especially at the back though, because again, that's where you need communication more than anywhere else on the pitch. So I'm very, didn't do much wrong, just solid performance, keep it up.
Dean?
Like we all agree, I thought Ozturk was very unlucky to get dropped, but someone has to get dropped, and to be honest, Ozturk, would you say he's one of the weaker three in the back three with Willis and was it Lynch?
In terms of technical ability, possibly.
Yeah, so
I do prefer Ozturk to Lynch personally.
Same, yeah, I do as well.
It's the kind of similar.
Dino's disagreeing with people.
I feel like Lynch has got a bit more pace about him and a bit more experience at the higher level than Ozturk.
I think Ozturk's more no nonsense, and he just sort of.
He's more no nonsense, but the thing is with Ozturk, he's very prone to a mistake, and a very costly mistake he can make. But like you say, when he first came in, he really had a bad time at it when he first joined, but. He's knuckled down. He must be training hard. I think he's a popular amongst the squad.
Which can help.
And I think Parkinson's got a problem with the bloke. I just do. I just think.
You don't think he hasn't got much confidence in him? You think he's...
Maybe. I just.
Do you not think Parkinson likes someone to play the ball on the ground, and maybe Ozturk hasn't got that ability to do that? Is better than some of the players.
Bailey Wright was great at doing that one.
True, but what we're doing when Ozturk was in, when we didn't have Bailey Wright, we're hoofing the ball anyway. We weren't playing it on the floor.
But Bailey Wright's passes were pretty precision
to be
the ball up well.
Yes.
To be fair though, Jordan Willis is quite good at keeping it on the ground.
Well, so to be honest, to Flanagan's credit, so has he been.
Yeah, he's been more recently at that.
Yesterday, Flanagan, he was bombing forward when he got the ball. He actually picked out a couple of really good passes.
I know.
Because normally he would pass a ball and there'd be no one there, or he'd hoof the ball forward and it'd be to nobody. But he looks like he's looking for players. He played one pass and he had no right to play it. It was down the left-hand side, I believe it was, to Gooch. It was a beautiful pass, and that's a centre back. Do you know what I mean? But for Ozturk, he's sound for this league. He is. I think he will do a job, but I think Bailey Wright will be a big miss because now the back three will get tested about how good they will play out from the back against a better team.
Can I just ask a question while he's on there? When you talk about Bailey Wright, I know he's out till the end of the season pretty much, but whatever league we're in next season, would you try and sign him on a contract?
Yes.
In the Championship?
He's a championship.
Either way?
He's a championship player. He's a championship player. He came from the
I'd easily have him either way.
No,
Sean looks a bit sceptical there.
I think it's a massive step up. I think I would probably sign him, but I mean he's good in this league, but the Championship it's a big step. Hopefully we get there, and I do think it's a massive step.
But he come from Bristol City when the Championship, and he was their captain, which we're led to believe he was the captain. Yeah. Don't get us wrong, Bailey Wright isn't the fastest defender, but his tackling is spot on. Good organiser, and you only need certain part like pace. Isn't the biggest thing if you got your position correct and you can tackle. Pace isn't a big factor, but when you're out of position all the time, Bailey Wright doesn't seem to be getting caught out of position very often.
So Sean, your opinion on Ozturk yesterday? Your opinion on Ozturk? Full stop.
I thought he was unlucky in the first place to be dropped when Bailey Wright first come in, but obviously when Bailey Wright come in, you could see his qualities was evident. As soon as his first game, you could see he was talking the back three, he was organising things, he was bringing the ball out. So he's a bit unlucky, I see Ozturk, but unfortunately Bailey Wright's out for the rest of the season. But I thought, Ozturk, like you see, I was unlucky. He done well yesterday, but I think, to be fair, Bristol Rovers not being disrespectful, but I didn't think they really troubled our defence yesterday. Like, to be fair,
I don't even think they were even coming to get a win.
I think it just come for a point, and I'm a fan of Ozturk. I think he's a no nonsense. He just, if any balls come in, he clears them. But he's not going to be a type of defender who brings it out of defence and plays a nice pass into the centre midfield or the wingers or the striker. I think he's just like But I think as a back three, I mean, say Willis, Flanagan, and Ozturk, I think they could build a partnership now. I'm not too sure about Tommy Smith. I'm not sure whether he'll come in.
So I think, we all love a good Turkish delight, don't we? Absolutely beautiful taste, absolutely gorgeous, absolutely fantastic. Now we've got this Turkish delight in the central defence. Now does he fit into Phil Parkinson's in the forward thinking? So we brought Tommy Smith in. So does he think Tommy Smith eventually is going to come in after a few matches and replace Ozturk, because Ozturk is prone to some defensive mistakes? But as you keep a clean sheet, you cannot change your team. You've won 3-0, keep a clean sheet. For me, Ozturk starts against Fleetwood during the week. I think he's done a great job. I think he was unlucky to be dropped for Bailey Wright coming in so soon, but as Phil Parkinson's doing at this moment in time, having a fantastic decisions, making some great decisions, we didn't realise how good Bailey Wright was, and to be fair, Bailey Wright is probably slightly better than Ozturk. So on that note, he did really well. So now Tommy Smith's come into the fold on the bench yesterday. Apparently he's another leader. He was a leader at Ipswich. A big 6'2" tall central defender, scored 20 odd goals for Ipswich. He went to Colorado Rapids. He played 60 matches, scored a couple of goals there. And he says he's looking forward to getting back into the English League for the relegations and promotion battles. He loves the battles. He says, I'm a leader. I will lead the team. So now you've got like Bailey Wright, who's injured unfortunately, but you've got Willis, who's a leader. You've got Lynch, who's a leader. You've got Ozturk, who thinks he's a leader. I think he's a leader as well. And now Tommy Smith. So you've got a central defensive team all full of leaders. So Michael, what's your thoughts on Tommy Smith coming in?
Good cover at the minute.
Only 29 years old, so he's young enough.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? When he was younger than 30, that's happy days. Look, once Bailey Wright got injured, I did think we needed then another centre-back, because obviously then if another centre-back gets injured, you're kind of screwed in that you've only got 3 centre-backs, and if they all aren't fit to start, then you have to drop and change systems and personnel and everything. So I think Tommy Smith is a good acquisition. Can't go wrong on a free till the end of the season. There's a few Ipswich fans that are apparently disappointed that they didn't try and go for him, so that to me tells quite a lot.
He must be decent.
Hopefully, how has he been playing a lot this season?
He's played for Colorado, 60 games, yeah.
60, is it this?
That was last season. That was last season.
He's gone
Last
straight
season.
onto the bench, so he must be
Okay.
fit. He looks after himself. You're 29-year-old, you take care of yourself.
I'm just hoping that if he's coming in, I'm hoping he's not going to take a month and a half to get up to fitness or whatnot. I'm just hoping that he's primed and ready to step in whenever need be.
So what he says is he misses the passion of the game, the English passion. You get loads of passion at the stadium. He's looking forward to playing behind the Sunderland fans, getting the passion going.
Get yourself on the pitch on Tuesday, Tommy, under the floodlights. That'd be great, wouldn't it? I mean, as you mentioned before, when you're talking in regards to Ozturk, that Bristol Rovers didn't really. I was surprised actually how much they didn't actually test us that much. I really thought that with Clark Harris, who's one of the league's best forwards, that they didn't really push all that high.
Was he playing? Was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, but having said that, though, you look at Fleetwood and Coventry. Fleetwood's not going to come here on Tuesday and sit back for a draw. Are they? They're going to come out here and really try and go at it for the 3 points. So, if maybe Tommy Smith might make a debut then if he's fit enough. I don't know.
So, Sean, now that Lynch, for me, that he's brought Tommy Smith in because Lynch has got this rib injury and it's going to take a lot longer to get him fit than he probably presumed in the first place. So he's got good cover in Tommy Smith. So, what's your thoughts on Tommy Smith?
Well, I don't know much about the bloke, and that's just reading there. Obviously, he was 11 years at Ipswich, and Mike was saying the fans were disappointed that they didn't go back for him. If he's a leader, that's it's always a good thing. But I'd like to say I don't know much about him.
He did win Player of the Season at Ipswich at one point. And he constantly played 40 odd matches a season for them, apart from when he got injured at one point.
He's only 29 though as well, so I mean he's still young. You know what I mean? So if he can get up to match fit, he could be a good signing. Could be a decent signing.
Do you think he's going to come in for Ozturk at some point? I think Ozturk deserves to stay in the team.
I think Ozturk should. I think he should be given a chance. I mean, I think he was unlucky in the first place. I think if he does something wrong, like the next 2 games come up massive. So like as we're talking about downstairs, if he makes a mistake or he doesn't play very well, then and Tommy Smith's obviously fit, then maybe bring him in then. But I'll give Ozturk a chance. I think Ozturk's a decent defender. I prefer him better than Lynch as well.
Dean, what's your thoughts, Tommy Smith? I mean, he's a good-looking bloke, isn't he? You can see he's a good-looking bloke. Fit in the team nicely, won't he?
Well, I'm looking at him straight away. Height 6'2", so he's a tall defender. He's taller than Bailey Wright, I believe. I'm sure Bailey Wright wasn't that tall. He's got a lot of experience with Ipswich Town.
11 years.
The only thing what puts us off, he went to Colorado Rapids. I mean, the MLS isn't exactly known for its best football. And would he be on the load? Because he's not exactly like a picking Jermaine Defoe out, is he? So for me, going to Colorado Rapids has that affected his game, like because when you go to America, you're basically going there to like just chill, really.
End of career.
Like it's like not end of career, but it's like a step down in like intensity and stuff like that. So
Colorado's a beautiful part of the world.
Well, that's why he went there. It's a beautiful part of the world. Nice, sunny, warm. Not like where it is here. It's pissing down, windy is out. Do you know what I mean? But I think he'll just. For me, I think we've brought him in. I think we've brought him in for the simple fact that Bailey Wright's out now. So now you've left with just Lynch, who's a centre back. Is that right? So it's just Lynch as a centre back.
And if he's not fit, then
so you need cover. And I think we've brought him in. He might get his game. But the way we're going with signings, look at Scowen, he's not getting his game, so for me, he's got no guarantee to start.
So yesterday, OGOGO was sent off as it was 0-0, and I was quite baffled, confused about what Sean said. What was that about Maguire? Making him get him sent off. What did you say again? Repeat what you said.
No, it's just I was at the other side of the pitch, but it looked like he sort of enticed him in. He niggled him and then the lad reacted and kicked him.
I was thinking maybe he's like Yuri Geller. He's like mind tackle me, hack me, get the player sent off. Is that what he's doing, Maguire?
He's a spoon bender, isn't he?
He's a spoon bender. Anyway, so OGOGO was sent off in the second half, and it looks like I say Maguire did did put the boot in a little niggle here and there, but the player did react. The player should be, professional player shouldn't react and kick someone like that because he's going to get sent off, as simple as. That was the only thing that the referee did right the whole of the game for me. That's another opinion. So Michael, what was your thoughts on a OGOGO getting sent off?
I'm not going to take that name seriously.
A OGOGO got sent off. Something there somewhere. Right.
Okay, when I can compose myself here. It's what Maguire did is something that if it was an opposition player doing that, I was like, absolutely can't stand that. I think you should play the game, get on with it. But in which case, OGOGO probably shouldn't have reacted the way he did. The problem is, every time I try to look back at it on the highlights, the camera's too far away or from the other side of the stadium to get a clear view of what's going on.
It looks to me like Maguire does kick him first, and he runs and he kicks him back.
To be fair, from what I saw, it looked like Maguire was deliberately standing backwards and backing into OGOGO to try and entice a reaction. And then I didn't see immediately what happened. All I saw after that was Maguire go to the floor.
That's my verdict. I see. I've never really seen it back, but what I've seen of it was like a little bit of a scuffle, and Maguire, I think he just sort of enticed him into it. Niggled him, and then he just snapped, didn't he, and reacted. And was in front of the referee as well. You know what I mean? Down on the referee.
The thing is, that's an experienced player doing that, because he's obviously done it before. When you're an experienced player, you know how to get little things like fire. Look at us last season. Oviedo done it when he kicked out at the Peterborough player and got him sent off, and we ended up drawing or getting beat that game.
No, he drew.
So it's happened to us. Power, I'm sure Power's done the same way. He's lashed out, being sent off. It's 09 at this season down at Peterborough. Happened there. Did Charlie White as well? No, Charlie White was just a super child. But our players have done that. Yeah. It's an experience thing. If you think you can get someone sent off by reacting, you're going to do it because it gives your team an advantage. It's not cheating. It's getting a reaction, and do you know what I mean? He forced that reaction off him. Bear in mind, I think Maguire did go down a bit too easy.
He was a bit dramatic.
But to be honest, teams do that to us all the time, so it's about time we give it to someone back.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's up to the referee to decide, was it malicious, was it not, and the referee decides it was malicious, so he sent him off.
When you say the replay, he does kick him, but it does raise his arm a little bit. So did he actually catch him in his face? Because Maguire was holding his face on the ground like he's being punched in the face.
Well, to be honest, our players hold the face when they get kicked on the floor. Anyway, look at Rivaldo in the World Cup 2002 when
pathetic.
When he got the ball hit his knee and he held his face, and the linesman seen, and the linesman, oh no, hit his face.
Just sit back.
So players do it. World class players do it. Did he get hit in the face? It's up for debate, but he still lashed out. Even if it's a kick out, if you kick him, it's still sending off.
I'm not sure if one of those paper bags blew in his face and he thought he got punched. Rubbish all over the pitch.
Did you see the amount of it that was flown around all over the game yesterday? Mother Nature not kind.
It was an absolute nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare.
But the wins, you can't make it with them wins, you know what I mean?
But it's been like that the last few games. I mean, Sean and Dino will know at Oxford, it looked absolutely horrendous down there. It was bad against Ipswich and Rochdale.
They've only got 3 stands as well, so
the rubbish blows out that way.
The rubbish just goes
Blow and help the Kazan.
I'm not quite sure whether there was a red card or not. I mean, I've seen given, seen not given, so it all depends on the day. We get we get the pluses and the pros and the cons. You get some red cards, you get some that's not given. So end of the day, you take what you can in that league because the referee doesn't give us much else.
I mean, either way, OGOGO shouldn't have done what he did full stop though, because Bristol Rovers they would have fancied themselves maybe to get something out of it otherwise, and they could argue that red card cost them a result.
Or was he lying on the floor with his hands over his face pretending he was asleep, so he would say, "Wake me up before you go." I don't know, never mind.
Right. We need to get you onto the tannoys and sing that. That would be hilarious.
What I have noticed, mind, since Josh Scowen has come in, I think the likes of Power but especially Dobson has raised his game in the last few weeks because he thinks he's on the verge of being dropped because Scowen's there, biting at his heels to come in. So Dobson, for me, has raised his match. What's your thoughts on Dobson?
There's not one panel that goes by without Dino shaking his head and putting his hands on his face.
Yeah, because he said Power's playing well. For me, Power was shocking yesterday.
Not as good as Dobson. Dobson played well.
Dobson's been...
We'll get to you in a minute. No arguments.
Well, if we're talking about Max Power, I can't promise that. Look, Dobson, I think for me, was man of the match yesterday. I thought Dobson got himself down the pitch excellently. I thought he really pressed Bristol Rovers constantly, forced them into mistakes, was a busy bee pretty much. And that's one of the good things about Scowen being brought in. Even if he doesn't play, it makes other people start to raise their game. That's exactly what you need. You need cover, you need competition, otherwise people might end up getting complacent.
Marks out of 10 for Dobson.
9.
Marks out of 10 for Power.
You say 9, I'll hurt you.
Come on, spot on, mate. Get Northumbria police on here. 10.
Right.
Obviously, that's a joke. I'd say about 6, 5 or 6.
Really?
I didn't
Five
think.
or six?
That's generous, that, like.
Yeah. Right,
No, I
Dean,
think that's
your
pretty
turn,
fair.
your
Right,
turn, your
right,
turn.
for me, right, I was watching both of them yesterday, right. You made a point downstairs. Power is very good at organising, shouting at his players, but when it comes to most other things, like his forward passing yesterday was absolutely diabolical again. He made one good pass, and we talked about this. It was a pass where he had no right to play it, but I think it was just a miss kick.
played it.
I think it was a miss kick because it just went lovely into Maguire's path. But other than that, he was losing the ball constantly. I think Dobson pulls Power out the shit most weeks now. I think Power's not bringing enough for me, but because he's the captain, he's not getting dropped. Because for me, Power's been at least a 4 for the last couple of weeks. He hasn't really done much in my opinion. Dobson's ran more, tackled more, played more passes, better passing accuracy, more interceptions, and Power's just organising. I need more from Power in my life. I need more from Power. I really do.
Do you think sometimes when players become captain, it's too much burden on the shoulders and they kind of play their own game and they concentrate on everybody else?
No, because you're given the captain because you're supposed to be a leader. But I've always said captains don't make great leaders. Because
do you like Scouse accents? I think they're great.
If it comes from back to Power, probably not.
But for me, I just think. Do you know when Power went through that sticky patch, he was getting dropped now and again? I think it might be time to bring just Power out for a game because I don't know what it is with Power. He's not offering enough to the team, in my opinion.
So who's captain if Power gets dropped?
Well, you've got a few on there. You've got
Exactly.
Willis.
So who would you have?
Who would I have? At the minute, it's got to be Willis, isn't it? Got to be Willis.
So you think Dobson's raised his game since Scowen's come in or not?
Definitely, but the mad thing about Dobson is he knows he's got one more yellow card until he gets banned, and then that's probably his place gone to Scowen. So he's trying his hardest not to get a yellow card, so Scowen can't get in the team, which is good to see because he would just get silly yellow cards for no reason. But now he knows someone can take his place who might be a better player than him. And he's thinking, I don't want to get a yellow card because I might not get back in the team.
So Sean, for me, that says that Dobson's improved his game. He's an intelligent lad. He's getting better. He's learning for age. He's not getting as many yellow cards now because he wants to stay in the team. So he's put more concentration on his game.
I think what Dame was saying there, I think it's a case of he's got one yellow card away from getting suspended, and he knows if he gets that yellow card, he could be at the team for a long time. But I totally agree with what Dame said there. I think if anything, I would get rid of Power and bring Scowen in. That's apart from being an organiser on the pitch, which I say yesterday, which
is an important factor in the team. By the way,
that's fair enough. Which you've done well on the ball is where you get judged mainly, and he doesn't really do enough on the ball for me, and that's why I think Dobson is stand out in the middle at the minute. He's grafting. He's he's getting tackles in. He's passing it. And Power just he doesn't seem to do much. I would see a 3 or 4s ratings each.
But is that down to him or is that down to Parkinson's or manager's instructions though?
Well,
I still keep getting the
I'm sure Dobson and Power's been told to do the same thing. So why is Dobson stand out more than Power?
In which case, I don't think they're getting told to do the same thing then.
But they are though, because they sit in the same position.
But you've just said one's sitting deeper, one's going forward. So
Not really.
So you just said that. You just said they were. You said that Power was sitting deeper, and Dobson's trying to dictate the game. Also, they must clearly be told to do different things.
Them words never left my mouth. I can tell you that now. That never left my mouth.
Either way, I still think Power's being made a scapegoat ridiculously.
So has Dobson now got Power in his back pocket? Has Dobson now got the power?
Based on recent performances, yeah, Dobson has been better than Power. I just think that, again, I've said it before, I think Power in the right team, when you've got players in front of him who go forward more than he does, sometimes you need a midfielder to sit a little bit further back, and I think Power does that really well.
Is it the case though with Power as well? Like Daniel said earlier on, he's the captain, and he's not going to get dropped because he's the captain. I think that's wrong.
Then that's the fault on the manager, not Power.
I think that's wrong because nobody should be
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I think Dobson also has more potential in him. He's a younger player. He could potentially be loads better than this league at some point in the future. Might pick in the place where Power now has reached his peak. He's reached the power of his, of what he has. Peak of his powers, exactly. and for me, some players like Honeyman last year become the captain, can't play the natural game because they have other responsibilities, and it is a big burden to take on your shoulders. Now we know fine well Phil Pattinson isn't going to drop any of those players. You cannot drop a winning side. You cannot drop players from a winning side. He's not going to drop the players. But for me, against Fleetwood during the week, if we do go goal behind and we are getting dominated in midfield, that's when he brings Scowen on in the first half to change things.
Well, did you not recognise yesterday when when the man got sent off and we weren't really going forward, Lafferty was ready to come on. And men was scored, Gooch scored, and he said, right, Lafferty, sit back down, mate. And he didn't make a substitution.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Was it the 80th minute or something?
Yeah, something like that.
But this is for me. The next two games, and I'm going to come to the bit. This is when your players step up, because these two next games are massive. You know what I mean? Your big players will stand out in the big games. Like if Max Power's good enough, he'll stand out on Tuesday. He'll stand out on Sunday. Let's see how good he is on Tuesday and Sunday.
So Dean, I think that was a great managerial decision by putting Lafferty back on the bench. It proves he's the boss. I'm in charge. Get your kit off. Get your kit on. Do as you say. For me, that's a great managerial decision. You're 1-0 up and you win the game 3-0.
But it must be daunting on a player when he's like, right, I'm coming on. He's done his warm up. He's ready. He's standing there. We'll score a goal.
Who was coming off?
Well, I don't know. We'll never find out.
Was it White?
Possibly could have been Mike.
So he kept White on and then White scored the goal.
Didn't score the goal. Gooch scored the
Second
goal.
goal.
The second one.
I thought it was the first goal when he said sit back down.
He's talking about the Lafferty was getting ready to be warmed up, and then as soon as Gooch put us in front,
No, he was ready. He's standing
That's
there.
what I mean, yeah. And then go and sit back. Yeah.
So imagine that being a player.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you've done your warm up.
Confidence
You
in
just
it.
about to come on. You've probably got you've got adrenaline in you. You're going to come on the pitch, and then he goes right, sit back down.
I think
You have a massive adrenaline.
I think to me that proves he's a good manager. He's a great manager, and for me it's bollocks. The player comes on because it's exactly the same as the manager says. Right, he's ready to go on the pitch. You sit back down. You're on the bench. Don't have to be on the bench if you're not happy. Get back on the bench. It proves that he's the boss. Phil Pattinson's the boss. His dodgy days of Lafferty in the past where he wouldn't do as he's told and he wouldn't do this, that and the other, proves he's in Parkinson's back pocket now. He's going to play and do everything for the team.
but, you know,
and Parkinson did the right thing for me because he left White on and then White went and scored that next goal.
But then you can say if he did swap White and Fingy, how do you not know Lafferty would have scored that goal? It's like you say, it's ifs and buts again. But I've been in that position what Lafferty was in when I'm just about to come on and then he's just changed his mind last second and it does you like, what the fuck's the point?
Confidence.
Wouldn't bother me one single bit. Wouldn't bother me at all.
It depends on what kind of player, but we all know Lafferty's a fiery character. For me,
there's a good team ethics there, and I think Lafferty would be just as happy to sit back down again and let the team win 3-0. He wouldn't have come on.
If I was a player, I would be happy if I didn't get on.
I'll probably fuming man, muppet.
Before you say your point,
go on then.
After you say your point, we're going to quickly move on to now that we've let Lafferty back on the bench and he's sitting down, he's got his clothes back on, nice and warm, having a nice drink of water. Maguire then goes and scores the second goal. White goes and scores the second goal. Maguire. Should the game have been stopped by the referee with a head injury, or did he not realise at the time because he was concentrating on White, who was further up the pitch?
Well, I'll just point out quick. The point I was going to make is that I'm emphasising on what Sean said, like saying that if we're good enough, we'll step up the next two games. We need the manager to step up in terms of substitutions from the next two games. If he can see that we're behind in either of these games and it's not working, please don't wait until the 75th, 80th minute to do something. Actually try and impact it earlier. That's my point out of the way. Now, as far as the I think we've had different opinions on this. I think the game should have stopped. When the clash of heads happened, I know Dino said that he thinks he should play on. That's fair enough, but because I know, was it at Pompey the game didn't stop.
The referee didn't see it.
Yeah, which was also
dangerous.
wrong. It should have been stopped then as well. That apparently the rules are that you should stop the game the instant that there's issues in heads clashing or any head injuries of any kind. If Bristol Rovers, I think, have a point in being pretty annoyed at that. If that was the other way around, we'd be saying the game should be stopped.
How long did the game go on before the Portsmouth match stopped?
But good question.
It was a good 30 seconds, which can be crucial really if it's a serious injury. I mean,
it was the same time period for the goal.
So good on you, Michael Bowles, for saying it should have been stopped. Well done, good opinion, even though Sunderland scored. So, what do you think?
I agree with Michael. Said it's safety first. I mean, thankfully the guy was all right, but I know we got the goal and it was good, but really the game should have been stopped there and then. If it was a clash of heads, it should be stopped straight away.
Was it a clash of heads or because only one person was down? When there's a clash of heads, there's two players.
Even if there's one person with a head injury, you've got to stop the game.
Well, see, they should make a rule now, right? Because obviously we went on and scored, so imagine that got cut out, right? For all we know that player might have been play acting, because you know what players are like these days, they play act a lot, so that might influence a referee's decision. Going, there's nothing wrong with him, it was just he jumped up for the head.
But if he was knocked out stone cold on the floor,
but was he actually knocked out stone cold?
I don't know.
Well, there you go. He's not like Lynch. Lynch was knocked clean out. Right, so for all we know, he's play acting. Why don't we do what they do in the rugby when there's a player down? The physios go straight on, and just we're on the attack, so there's no one round that player now. Get the physio straight on, and just like obviously when the play stops, we'll say we scored, and then obviously you restart, or if the ball went out of play, then you blow the whistle and then sort it all out.
It's a grey area
because there should be a rule where when there's someone down in the box and like they play them on side, if they're down injured, that person shouldn't count anymore. So that's not the offside. It should be the offside from the player who's actually like the left centre back or something. So when he's down, he doesn't count as being offside.
So
he's like irrelevant.
Are you suggesting the FA has common sense then?
What?
No, just something different. It's just something different. If it works in the rugby, why can't it work in football?
I just think after the goal was scored, the play did stop for a good minute and a half at least before action resumed again. So I just think it's down to opinion. If you think it should have gone on, fair enough. There'll be people who agree with you. I've had people who've said pretty much what you have to me. So I just think it should have been stopped personally, but that's just me.
I was behind the goal where White scored, and I didn't see it at the time. I didn't even know the player was down with a head injury. I think that point what Dane said is a fantastic point. I think if there's a goal opportunity, then the kit person comes straight onto the player, because then players are out of the game now. It's a 1-on-1 with the keeper going then obviously. But at the time, if it was a head injury and the referee did see it, he should have stopped the match. If he didn't see it, which I think he obviously didn't see, then the game goes ahead.
Like you see, the things like that, it's like in rugby union, I mean, what's the Six Nations, if as soon as a serious injury, the physios are straight on.
And they're still playing.
And I think that'd be a great...
But most sports are way ahead of football. Football is like the dark ages, like dinosaurs in charge of football.
I mean that's embarrassing. Even if you look at it, if it's true, because I don't watch rugby, so I'll take your word for it. You'll know more than me. But if visuals run onto the pitch in rugby and the game's still playing, rugby players go way faster than footballers sometimes. When I've watched it,
I mean, there's more serious injuries in rugby than there is in football.
So it's just they are tough. So what are the FA waiting for then? Why can't they? Ultimately, as we said with the Lynch thing, albeit you could say he was out cold.
See, there's so many rules you could bring in. Like, look at the time wasting rule, like where people just time waste.
Yeah,
as soon as the keeper grabs the ball, there should be like a 15-second window to put the ball down and kick it. So that means you've got to run, put the ball down, and then kick it. If it's like say 15 seconds gone, you get a corner because obviously it's a goal kick. Same for like free kicks and stuff like that. So there can't be any time wasting because the keeper yesterday was literally taking the piss. He was walking. Why? Yeah. When you're taking a goal kick, do you have to walk to the other side of the box to kick the ball? It shouldn't work like that. You should kick it where the nearest spot is.
From a Bristol Rovers perspective, we know exactly why they were doing that.
Because they're playing for the point.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I think that if you put rules in to stamp out time wasting, teams will stop doing it.
I mean, the 6-second rule for keepers holding it, we all know that's a load of bollocks.
What's happening to that?
That doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? Referees don't stamp down on it, so people get away with it. There's no yellow card shown. I'm sure there was a keeper, I think it was in the Europa League or Champions League, he time wasted twice and he got sent off because he time wasted twice.
Well, good. Do more of that.
Before we move on to the man of the match, I wanted to ask one more thing. Now, Michael, if you were Ozturk and you've got Tommy Smith who's been brought straight in, nobody else has been brought in apart from Tommy Smith, would you be disappointed thinking the manager doesn't like what I do on the pitch? Or would you just be saying, right, it's part of the team, I understand Lynch is injured, we'll bring Tommy Smith in, I've just got to raise my game and take it on the chin?
Well, hopefully it's the latter. I can kind of see that Ozturk hasn't been able to seem to catch a break. With the fact that he's playing well, Wright's come in, Wright, you drop from the team again, and then as soon as you come back into the side again, albeit because of Wright's injury, Tommy Smith comes in. Yeah,
but before Wright took over his place, he did handle the ball 1 or 2 times, so there was like a reason why I thought Pattinson did drop Ozturk, because he was like every now and again grappling someone and handling the ball.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I just see he done it again. Didn't handle the ball, but the player went past. He's like, nah, you're not getting past. And no yellow card for doing a no nonsense defender. I think if the person gets past, you're not getting past me. He's done it 4 times now, I think. But you know what? I like that. That just shows he knows there's danger. He knows he's going to run through, and he just grabbed him and stopped him.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about Ozturk is that sometimes again he does tend to make wrestling challenges a little bit too obviously to the ref. But apart from that, there's not much wrong with his game, I don't think.
So Sean, again, if you were in Ozturk's position, would you be disappointed Tommy Smith's come in, or would you be happy because it's more depth for the team?
No, I just think it's a case of we've lost a player to the end of the season, so we've had to cover ourselves. Now, if Ozturk keeps on performing, then he shouldn't have any worries about anybody coming in his place. Do you know what I mean? So
I'd go against that because he was playing well last time and he got dropped. So,
but I think I think Billy Wright, that was looking at it now, you would see Billy White was, was a good.
I do think if we go back to the previous Sunday bunches, we'll see Dino complaining about these handballs from Ozturk.
I never complained.
You never complain, really?
No, I never complained about that.
Oh, Dino.
I never complained about that because it's clever, because he was going to run through it and he just went like that and handballed it. Like, I believe if the defender was going to, like, say, the 1-on-1 took the keeper on and Ozturk was alright, I know for a fact Ozturk would stick his hand out. And
this is why we have him in our five-a-side team. He's clever.
Today seems to be pick on Dino Day. Like
for me, Ozturk, can he be angry? He should be angry in the first place for getting dropped for Billy Wright. He's come back into the team, but there's no reason for him to be dropped unless he gets a red card, yellow card, or he plays really badly. And if he doesn't, none of them three, and he just plays really well, no yellow cards, no red cards, there's no reason to take him out. But I think there might be a bit of a clash of personalities between him and Parkinson for some reason. I just feel like there's something wrong there. Unless Parkinson Ozturk reminds Parkinson, like Parkinson reminds Ozturk of something bad happened in the past. He went, do you like him because he looks like that bloke who's done that? You know what I mean?
Remember, folks, out this is all good banter. We all love each other, really, but not in a sexual way. Right, Dean, who was your man of the match yesterday?
Man of the match, you know what? There's a lot of standout performers, right? But for me, he proves me wrong all the time, and he just seems to get better and better and better. And that's Flanagan. Something for me, fantastic Flanagan, right?
I thought you were saying Max Power there.
No, fantastic Flanagan. His passing yesterday was great. His tackling was great. His decision making was spot on, and he's starting to become a really focal point in this defence now. And I just think he's just a different bloke to what I've seen last season. So for me, Flanagan.
For me, George Dobson. I'm quick to, like, earlier on in the season, I was quick to criticise the bloke, but he just seems to be coming into his own now, and I think he's, in that middle, he's, for me, if you're going to drop anybody, it's Max Power. I think he was brilliant yesterday. I think he was running all hour, he was putting tackles in, he's giving 100%. If he's going to match change in the middle, and he's going to bring Scowen in, I would bring him in for Power. That's what I would do now. I think Dobson's playing really, really well.
in terms of midfields, yeah. As much as I do like Max Power, I've got a point that Dobson has been playing the better out of the two of them. And I think I agree with you. I think Dobson was man of the match yesterday. I think Dino's shout for Flanagan's a good one, because I think Flanagan was probably the pick of the back three for me, in that he just kept on. I remember there was one occasion where Bristol Rovers were going forward, and Flanagan, like a flash, was just straight into him and just got rid of the danger altogether, which I love stuff like that. But Dobson was just, like I said earlier, was all round the pitch, made himself busy, made him noticeable, I think, and fair enough. I mean, it might be the case that he's trying to keep performances up to give Parkinson a dilemma that when he does get that yellow card, remember what I was playing like before I got that yellow in the suspension. But good on him, he's doing the right thing. Can't complain with him.
Yeah, the lads have said it all there. Dobson's great and Flanagan was great, but I say closely followed by Maguire, 2 assists, and you got to play a centre off. Well done, Uri Geller. Absolutely fantastic. Maguire done a great job yet again, but like I said, Dobson in the centre midfield pulled the strings, was really good. Now, before we move on to the midweek matches and the next weekend's match, I want to say Bristol Rovers fans, I thought they were great, absolutely fantastic fans. What were your thoughts on the fans, Michael?
Well, obviously I watched your video last night, so I didn't really encounter them very much, but from what I saw on your video, they looked really good and turned out in very good numbers. And again, I say this for half the fans here, but Bristol to Sunderland's not, like, again, a 2-hour journey. It would have been a good 6-7 hours or so, and they wouldn't have probably got back till about, 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe slightly before that. So yeah, good numbers for a Saturday kickoff. Can't complain with them, really. When you said earlier to wish them good luck for the rest of the season, apart from Tuesday, March the 10th, yes.
Yeah. I do. I've heard that Wee Phillies Wheat Chief show, pre-match show, was absolutely fantastic. The fans were great at the Wheat Chief. All fans are welcome to come to the home matches at the Wheat Chief. It's a really friendly day out, morning before the match, and Bristol Rovers fans were fantastic, brilliant. So what's your thoughts, Dean?
Go on, Sean.
I was just about to see it. The fans, I was just getting dropped off at the Wee Chief. I was just about to go in there to see Wee Philly's show, and I was that busy, I couldn't get in. It was full. Obviously, I was at work on the Saturday morning, so I couldn't get in. But I was just reading Philly's comment on Wee Philly's comment on Twitter, saying they were one of the best set of fans this season. That just
Guys, I follow someone on Instagram called One Rovers Vlogs, and he's commented on this on the interviews, I think, and he basically put up a picture on Instagram of Wee Philly's show, and it put something like Bristol City or wankers, which I thought was, I don't mind Bristol City. I know that. Sorry, Bristol Rovers fans. That was hilarious to look at, though.
And I do know One Rovers Vlogs does watch the Sunday bunch, so hello One Rovers Vlogs.
Thanks for the
Sorry
support,
about the defeat yesterday, but thanks for the support and good luck the rest of the season. So Dean?
Apart from Tuesday,
I didn't have any interaction apart from the one we interviewed, but there was no trouble, which is always good. They turned out in quite good numbers for the drive it is. And to be honest, they were one of the better supported teams we've had at the stadium, like in my opinion. They brought Midfield down. Yeah. So good on them, you know. They're cracking on in the league. I'm sure they've came from Conference League, haven't they, through the years? Yeah. And obviously, have they ever been above Bristol City? Or have they all?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Bristol City have been in the lower leagues, and I don't know.
I mean, they're doing all right for themselves, and hopefully obviously this season they stay up, and then next season hopefully they can push for a playoff position maybe, and try and build a better squad to get up the league, because no one wants to be in League One. Let's be fair.
If the Rovers met City on water, they would rip them anew because of the Pirates. Jim Ladder.
You're really on form today, like.
Right, so we're going to move on to the midweek match and the Coventry match. We're going to ask the lads how many points we expect to get, how many points we need to get. We're not going to go on to Joey Barton just yet. So, Fleetwood at home, Coventry away. I think we need a minimum of 4 points. 4 points. We cannot lose one of those two matches, but I would love, obviously, to get 6 points. So your thoughts on how many points, Michael?
You say we can't lose any of the games, but just get 2 draws now. I think that, look, if we got 6 points, I would just really start to believe for top 2. But getting 6 points, I think, is a bit much to ask for. I think if you got 4 points, I think it might have been Dean on last week saying that I think Coventry's, if we beat Fleetwood on Tuesday, and again that's a big if because we haven't beaten them since we've dropped into League One. If we beat Fleetwood, snap your hand off for a point at Coventry. I think then, because the Coventry look to be one of the informed teams at the minute, but then again so did Fleetwood, because Fleetwood just recently beat Peterborough and Portsmouth, I think.
Coventry seem to concede goals. They conceded yesterday. We're keeping a lot of clean sheets, so there's some sort of hope there.
Well, hopefully we're still saying we're keeping clean sheets after Tuesday 10 o'clock.
Definitely.
Like I said before, Fleetwood, like Bristol Rovers again, surprisingly came up here and seemed to be content with playing for a point. Fleetwood are not going to do that. I'd be amazed if they did that.
How many points? And don't say 5.
If you offered me 4, I would take that now.
Sean?
Not being greedy, but obviously
you want 6, don't you?
6. I want
fair enough.
1-6. I'm not saying that's what we're going to get. I was agreeing with Michael. I probably would take the win on Tuesday and the draw at Coventry. But imagine if we got the 2 wins. Can you imagine that? Imagine what if we win on Tuesday against Joey Barton. As Michael just said, we haven't beat since we dropped down to League One, so that'd be a great result. And beating Coventry on Sunday,
who we also
that would just send a statement out. That would say that we really are for
confidence
the
would
top
be high.
2 fighting.
Could this define the season, Dean?
This is a massive win.
Yes. For me, the Fleetwood Town game. Is Cheddar Evans suspended for that game?
Yes, he is.
He is.
Because he got suspended, I think, 3 matches ago, so he missed Peterborough, Portsmouth, and he's missing Tuesday, I think.
So that's a good thing.
Massive
that's one of the danger. I mean,
just need to keep Paddy Madden quiet.
That's a good thing. For me, Fleetwood, if you draw against them, you've got to win Coventry, and it's vice versa. But for me, if we beat Fleetwood, if you beat Coventry, and I mean if you beat Coventry, you send out a massive statement. Then we've got to get these 2 teams to have a game in hand on us. So if we beat them, that means we're 3 points, another 3 points away from them. And then if we beat them, I'm sure we're on level on points, and then we only have one game in hand or something.
If we beat Fleetwood and Coventry, do you think we'll finish in the top 2?
I said a mad mistake yesterday on his video. I says if we can beat Coventry, we're going top 2. If we don't beat Coventry, even a draw.
Say that again.
If we beat Coventry, we'll go top 2.
You think we'll be?
If we can't beat Coventry, even a draw, I don't think we can. I think it's going to all depend on that game.
But we have to do well in the Fleetwood match first, because
I believe we can
losing that match and then say Coventry winning during the week. Who did Coventry play during the week?
Rotherham.
Alright, so top 2.
Straight away, Tuesday's vital in the sense that if we can just beat Fleetwood, you instantly. I was saying this to Phil on the car on the way here. If you beat Fleetwood, you're going to close the gap on one of Coventry or Rotherham, or if they draw both of them.
At least one of them. Yeah.
How many points did you say?
I'd take 4.
6.
6.
Well done. I'll say. Solid 6. Right. Let's move on to
5.
Fleetwood and
5.
what Joey Barton brings to the stadium. Like, does he bring his shithousery tactics to the stadium? Like, beforehand, is it the mind games? Would he twist about the fans and say this, that, and the other? End of the day, Joey Barton I don't really want to say it on camera what I think of Joey Barton because
Don't need to. Phil's just said it for us.
I'm not getting involved in that scenario. Like I said before, the shithousery tactics. But Fleetwood are doing really well. And Cod's Vlogs is a young vlogger who does really well. He loves Fleetwood Town. It's not his fault. Joey Barton is the manager. Great young vlogger. Watch his channel. Fantastic YouTuber. But Joey Barton's Fleetwood side, I mean, when we played them away, it was 1-1. I thought we were the better side for the majority of the time. So do you think that we can actually beat Joey Barton's Fleetwood? And what tactics will Joey Barton bring to the table?
Joey Barton will do the whole underdogs tactics because he'll just... to be fair, he's probably right to do that. The pressure is going to be on Sunderland going into Tuesday's game. For Tuesday, yeah, I see absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be able to beat them. But again, we do bear in mind that they've beaten Peterborough and Portsmouth, both granted at home, but those two aren't mugs. Yeah, they've had two very, very good results recently. That is going to be a very difficult game, so I would still probably think at home we'd be disappointed not to win. If it was away, I mightn't have snubbed my nose up at a point, but at home I think he should be looking to get 3.
So will Joey Barton be welcome to the stadium like the Sunderland fans?
Of course he
You're not welcome in the Wheat Chief.
Joey Barton, come to the Wheat Chief, I dare you.
You're not going to go and shake his hand, are you, like you've been doing lately?
Oh, I'm tempted to go around with those electric shocks in your hand, you know.
Joey Barton would be as welcome at the stadium like as Steve Bruce would be right now. There you go.
So I think, man, he's doing... Put all banter aside and how much you hate the bloke aside, he's doing a good job at Fleetwood. Fleetwood, for a small club, and I mean that in a good way, are having a great season. They're really difficult to beat, and well done yesterday beating Portsmouth. Fantastic result for Fleetwood, but they are better at home than away. Thoughts on the game and Joey Barton?
You can bet your bottom dollar on Tuesday Joey Barton will have them players up for the game against us. He absolutely hates us. It's obviously he's Newcastle. He's ex-Newcastle.
He does need to learn to separate from Fleetwood, I think.
But he's got an obsession with us big time.
We've got to be up for it as much as they will.
He'll have them players riled up. I just really hope that we turn up on Tuesday night and finally get over our hoodoo over him and Fleetwood, because, like Michael said earlier on, we haven't beat him in this division. But, as my mistake said there, I thought when we drew them at their place, I thought we were the better side. And we were lucky on the day. I mean, second half, we played them off the park. You know what I mean? And we got the goal in the end, the penalty, and it was 1-1. But I thought we should have won that game. I'm feeling confident though getting into Tuesday. I think we'll win. I'm going to put my neck on the line soon.
Be a big result if we do.
Joey Barton, after the match, when your team bus pulls up, Sean and Dino will be waiting by the team bus. I dare you to get an interview with the lads.
So Joey,
Dino will knock us off. He's at work.
So it's me and Sean. So Joey, yeah. So what are your thoughts on the hopeful defeat of Sunderland?
Joey, you're safe. You've got the two diplomatic ones here. Right, Dean, what's your thoughts on Joey Barton?
Well,
what did I say for Dino?
Joey Barton, for me, is just one of the most scummiest managers in the league. In my opinion, he'll have a dig at Sunderland at some point during the week. He'll say something like,
"Of course he will.
If I had their team, I'd be top of the league," or their fans aren't even that good. I'd have 44,000 seats in the stadium and all that. You know what he's like? He's just a little wind-up merchant who shouldn't really be in football for all the stuff he's done. You know, he's an absolute scumbag in my opinion. But he's doing well with Fleetwood. Fleetwood are canny little team. They're in the playoffs now. I'm sure they're 6th now.
Yeah, they are.
They've just climbed in.
Just behind us and all.
They're not mugs. They were up there last season, but just missed out. I think.
They just phased off, didn't
they? They just phased off. But like you said, Sean, Barton can get players up for a game because he's got that mentality of like being a scumbag. So you know, scumbags are always up for stuff. Up for doing horrible stuff.
Where's he from?
He's from Liverpool, mate.
He's from Liverpool.
So you didn't like him anyway, but.
What was it, man? Mistake said Scouse accents are lovely.
Apart from Joey Barton's, only when he's crying after the match on Tuesday.
But we need.
Not me.
What we need to do is get the whole Joey Barton thing out of the system because he doesn't play for Newcastle anymore. And
it's his.
Wait, we don't care. It's him that cares.
It's him, Mike.
Well,
it's his obsession with us.
He needs to get his obsession now because it's not good for him because it just looks negative all the time. He only does it so Newcastle fans go on Twitter and go, that little tick was really good, you know, Joey. But like, let's just put that aside. We need to beat them, no matter if it was Joey Barton in charge of them or not. We need to beat them anyway. So if Joey Barton wasn't it, I want to beat them anyway.
There's lots of Newcastle fans out there actually hate Joey Barton. You know what I mean? They do.
I find it hard to believe though because they always say like,
they love anyone who's like a proper shithouse against Sunderland or a real proper. I mean, just to point. I mean, like I said, any Fleetwood fans watching, we have no problem with you as a club. Actually, pretty well-sized club, doing really well for us. We just hate your manager. That's all.
So quickly before we move on to the predictions. Do you think we should rest any players during the week? We know Phil Pattinson won't, but do you think we should?
For once, I actually don't think we should. I think just keep the same team. No reason to change it.
I agree with Mike. You shouldn't really change your winning mentality, but I just think in these big games, this is when Charlie Whitegun's missing. And this is when Power Gun's missing as well.
I agree with you.
Yes, your big players step up. Yeah, we'll see next Sunday. We'll see who your big
I
players
see
on your
Power
team.
stepping up, but I think White might end up going missing. Just depends. Depends how we play.
I think it's time. I'd like to see Lafferty start. I think for that type of game, I think because Lafferty's more of a shithouse than picking Wyke, and I think you need a bit shithousery on that pitch
against Fleetwood.
Against Fleetwood, you need some shithousery on the pitch. So that means the rat scouring. You know, I'm not saying he's a rat, but that's what he's nicknamed the rat because he's hard. I think someone like him would be ideal in this situation. Chris Maguire, shithouse player. You need players to be a bit more shithousey when it comes to a manager with that kind of team. So I think Lafferty would beat in the faces. Definitely, I think he'd be more effective than Charlie White in that game. I know you don't change a winning team, but you've got to play the team you're playing against, and they're shithousey, and we aren't.
Yeah, but as you said, though, we were winning even before Ozturk got dropped and Ozturk was changed. So
right, so
good point.
I'm going to get limbered up before I move on to these score predictions. So the score predictions for the Bristol Rovers match last week. Now, what did Sean say?
I said
4-0.
To be fair, you were one goal off.
I actually went 4 off.
I thought I said 3-0.
And he said a clean sheet, so well done, Dean.
I said 1-0. When Gooch scored, when I said to you, I think 1-0 Gooch, I went, get in, it's got to be 1-0. It's got to be 1-0. It's got to be 1-0.
So were you even more pissed off at Wyke then when you're like...
No, not really. I want to see more goals because normally in that situation when we're 1-0 up, then we just wouldn't attack. We'll continue attack. I
just more meant, Wyke, I don't like you anyway, but you cost me my prediction, lad.
And Michael, what were you thinking letting a goal in?
I'm just always the most pessimistic person defensively, even though I'm Mr. Champion Defence all the time.
Have we had 5 clean sheets in a row now?
4
something, I don't know. Actually, hang on.
4.
We've had 4...
We've got beat off Portsmouth.
1 game in 8 we've conceded. Yeah, it's Port, mate.
That's mint, that.
Now let's rewind back to last week for wee Philly's prediction. Put your mortgage on 2-0. Put your mortgage on 2-0. He did really well, but thank God nobody took his advice. There was only one person's advice you took, that was me. 3-0. Get it.
Right, Kurt's great. Since you got the score right, start with you. Prediction for Tuesday.
Fleetwood, I'm actually going to say 2-0 home victory for Fleetwood. I'm going to say that.
For Sunderland,
Sunderland,
yeah.
I'm just winding Fleetwood up. 2-0 to Sunderland on Wednesday night. Tuesday night, and I'm going to say the goal scorers are going to be Maguire Brace. Michael.
You're going goal scorer, okay. I'm still...
Levels going higher.
I wouldn't be. I'm expecting Fleetwood to score past us actually, but I do think we'll win. I think the same score I said for Bristol Rovers, 2-1. 2-1 Sunderland.
I'm going to go for... I've got a feeling they're going to score as well, Michael. I think 3-1 to us.
As long as we win, I don't care.
I'm going with a 1-0 again. I think we're getting a clean sheet. And with this team, I think we will nick a goal, and I believe it's going to be Gooch again. I think Gooch is starting to hit that form again.
And if you're living on the streets, do you really want wee Philly's predictions?
2-1 to Sunderland.
Who will score first?
I'm not bothered.
As long as we win, don't care.
So, Coventry match next Sunday for the courtesy of Sky Sports. Predictions for that match.
Oh, God.
Coventry 1, Sunderland 1. It feels like real crunch time next Sunday. Huge game.
That's actually a 1-1, but I'm going to...
And are you two going to the match?
Yes.
You're going to do any interviews after the match?
Yeah.
Yes. Get yourself there and get some interviews
luck.
done. Win, lose or draw, let your passion out, your frustration out, or your happiness out, and the joy on these two. Result?
That silence is not good.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to Sunderland.
Boom.
Like you say, I would snap your hand off of the draw with their form, but I want to win, so I'm going to go. They will score. I know they will score because they're known for scoring. So I'm going to say, you're going to laugh at this, 3-2 Sunderland.
Oh, yes, nice one, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, Coventry are another team we haven't beaten since we've dropped in League One as well. Just remembered, so yeah.
I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Sunderland. And remember, when you approach these lads at Coventry, the human beings, be nice to them, because at the end of the day, it's about opinions. We all have opinions. We appreciate your opinion, appreciate our opinion. Please subscribe to this channel.
Whoa. 1-0 to Sunderland.
Right, 1-0, that's it. We finish it. 1-0 to Sunderland. I was going to try and sneak that one out the way because I don't want you to lose 2 houses.
Saving the mortgages now.
Thanks again to the Hastings Hill for letting us use this lovely, fantastic room. And I've lost me mind of thought, my train of thought, me ups and downs and roundabouts. And subscribe to the channel. Yes, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to everybody else's channels if they've got any. He's got one, I've got one. These have something going somewhere.
Twitter. It's actually in the description now. I had a word with the technical manager.
Subscribers up to 3,000.
Yes, pop on the Weefully's channel. Weefully and Kaza, 3 subscribers away from 3,000 subscribers. And thank you to everybody for subscribing to this channel. We've reached 3K. We love you all.
Leave your comments. What score do you think it's going to be, and how many points we're going to get in these next 2 games?
And hopefully we'll go up. How are the lads?
Write the comments. Cheers. Thank you.